Guess who's back? Of course, it is me, Amira Blaze, and hey, it's been, I know, a very long time. To all of my bookish freaks out there, welcome to a special edition, another fine episode of Bookshade. So guys, I love the month of October. It's like fall time, and I just love it. And especially I love Halloween. You guys know, for me, Halloween is every day, okay? It goes beyond, okay, October. But guys, there is a readathon that is currently going on for, for those of us who enjoy the, horror literature, gothic literature. And this is like the one time in the year, right, where and this is the thing, guys, you don't always hear a lot about booktubers who are into alternative subcultures or like horror booktubers. It's kind of like it's like a very small I would say it's a very small like genre within like the booktube community. So this is like the one time in the year where we can all feel normal, right? But enough of my extraness. But guys, I am so excited for this readathon, and let me explain what this readathon is all about. And what I'm talking about is, it is time for what is called the Gothtober Readathon, okay? So what the Gothtober Readathon is, guys, it is a whole entire month, the month of October, and it is focused on reading horror literature and like gothic literature. And like, guys, like, let me tell you, all right, my bookish freaks out there, let me tell you, this is like my readathon. If you're interested in these particular genres of literature, you definitely want to participate in the Gothtober Readathon. And guys, I will be doing this readathon. It's like every day for me, okay? Besides paranormal romance, I am a very huge supporter of gothic literature, like especially like vampire literature and vampire romance. Like, I eat that shit up, okay? So what I'm gonna be doing today, guys, first is explaining the whole like details and everything around the Gothtober readathon, and then I'll be sharing with you my TBR specifically for this readathon. And it's gonna be an ongoing, guys, because for me, every day is Halloween, okay? Halloween for me goes beyond October, okay? But let's get into it, guys. So first off, here are the prompts that were presented for the Gothtober Readathon. And guys, I will also have the link below with all of the information if you are interested in participating. Guys, like, this whole month, okay, is going to be called what I like to call Every Day is Halloween Month, okay? And this is gonna go on for the rest of the fall, even into the winter, because this is a genre, guys, that I want to celebrate, and it gets greatly overlooked. So this really like warmed my heart, okay? So here are the prompts for this, guys, for Gothtober Readathon. And I'll be sharing with you, like I said, my TBR specifically for the Gothtober Readathon. So some of the staples, guys, that like were mentioned in regards to this readathon is you have to, well, it's not you have to, but if you really want to diversify your read, I think that would be important. Then you get different perspective, but that's just me. So the staples is a LGBTQIA plus read. So that's a read that is a book that features a character that is LGBTQIA plus. Also, there is a BAME read. So this is I would say like gothic literature or horror literature like book, that the character is primarily a person of color, specifically a African American person. And that blew my mind, guys, because I'll be honest with you, it's not every day that you hear about people of color being mentioned in the like in regards to horror literature and like gothic literature on booktube. But overall, my research looking into characters of color, it's few and far between. So when they mentioned that, I was like, what? Like, we're being included? Like alternative people of color are finally being included? Like, thank you. Okay, so to the creators of this Gothtober Readathon, thank you for caring to have all these different aspects of diversity, even outside of cultural. But it just felt really good. Like, that really, thanks. Okay, so I have some I have one major like series I'm going to be reading in regards to that particular type of read, and then finally a disability representation. So that's the one I've been kind of struggling with, is finding like a gothic literature book or a like horror book that has a character with a disability. It is a little bit of a challenge for me, a little bit, within the books that I have. But if you guys have any recommendations, let a bitch know. Okay, so moving on from that, so then here are some more theme prompts that pertain to this readathon. So you have lies, where a book where the title has liar, lies, or lying in it, or the main character is a liar. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to look through my books to see, or maybe I might check out like Kindle Unlimited. Guys, let me tell you, if you are into gothic literature, horror literature, paranormal literature, interracial literature, like romance and all that shit, like, you must get Kindle Unlimited. Like, there's just so much variety, and I love ebooks too, besides physical books. But actually, I'm kind of leaning more ebooks now, because it's just because of space, guys. And I mean, and I'm just gonna keep it real. All right, the price of books are starting to go up, okay, and I'm on a budget, so I buy the books of the authors that I really love and like I really support. But mainly I've been reading a lot of ebooks. This is how I'm able to like, turn these like wrap-ups, with commentary on that shit. But let's get back to it. All right, next prompt is a female protagonist. So a narrative led by a heroine. So female protagonist, yes. So I have a couple of those. Then a foreign country. So it says a book that takes place in a country foreign to the one you currently reside in. So you have to pick a book that is not, it doesn't take place in the same place that you're at. So I have a whole bunch of those. Then we have modern retelling, which is a modern retelling of a gothic classic or a newer release, which is described as gothic. And I have a whole bunch of those. Like, I am obsessed, guys, with retelling of classic gothic stories. Like, oh, I love. Okay, so next we have Bones, and it says a book with bones either on the front cover or on the title. Okay, that one I'm probably gonna struggle with because I don't always have books that I buy that have like, you know, bones on it, because you know people be judgmental as fuck. All right, but all my jokes aside, let's continue here. All right, so oldest purchased book, and it's a book that has been on your TBR. For those of you who are not as, you know, booktube bookish as I am starting to be, TBR stands for to be read. So it's just your reading list. That's all it is, okay? It's just a very intelligent, highly complicated way of saying, like, this is a list of books that I want to read, okay? But I digress. All right, so a book that has been in your own TBR for the longest. Oh yeah, I got a bunch of those. All right, red. A book with the color red on the cover or in the title. Oh yeah, I got one. Okay. Undead character. Oh, I love. Guys, let me tell you, I just have a very romantic soft spot for a sexy male vampire. Oh, it just gets me going. I'm just saying. But I digress. All right, all about messiness aside, undead character is a book which includes an undead character. So this could be a ghost, it could be a zombie. I'm not into the zombies. It just doesn't do it for me. Now, don't get me wrong. I do like the show iZombie. Highly recommend, guys. Really good. Frankenstein, vampire, of course, I got that covered. A wraith, a banshee, mummy, skeleton, etc., etc. So anything undead, okay? Next, we have Gray Morality, where it's a book with the characters or themes that are morally gray. So they're not like perfectly good, perfectly good protagonists, but they're not like a villain. They're just kind of like right in the middle. I think I might have books like that, but we'll see. We'll see what I've selected if it really fits. And here's the nice thing, guys, about this readathon. You don't have to you don't have to match up all of the prompts. You could have one book that like encompasses all of this. Make it easy on yourself, okay? Because sometimes these readathons be too damn complicated, and that's why sometimes I don't participate, because I'm like, this is a little too much, okay? But let's continue. All right. Okay, Dark Academia. So this is a book set at a university or college with dark themes or vintage aesthetic. So I definitely have a book. No, I don't have a book in this category, but if you guys have recommendations, there is a brutally honest, vicious comment section below. Let a bitch know. I'm just saying. All right. Okay, and then there's the bonus prompt, and this is where you guys as the bookish freaks come in, guys. You guys are gonna help me here. I am doing my first ever no filter, okay, watch party and commentary. So what that is you guys pick a show or I pick a show, and I will react to it and watch it in its entirety. And guys, let me tell you, I am the queen of the face reactions. Like, I'm just like, all that. All right, so let's do this. Okay, so it says bonus prompt, and it says vampire, watch your favorite vampire TV series. You don't have to watch the whole thing. One episode is enough, or film. And you guys know I love horror. Okay, I love gothic like movies and things like that. And guys, let me tell you, you know how difficult it is sometimes to make friends when you like this shit? I'm sure many of you guys can relate to it. But I really love this, but like some of my friends don't. So it's like, it's kind of hard to get them to like, watch, let's say, for example, I wanted to watch Bela Lugosi's Dracula or something like that, or something comes out new and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be great. And they're just like, oh, they're like grown. So it's tough, but that's why I do this program. Okay, well, that's not the only reason, but it's just nice, of course, to hear from you guys, and you guys like relate to me on that front. So much appreciated. Okay, so let's go ahead here, guys. I have a poll, a voting poll that you guys can actually vote on, and here is the poll for today in regards to this bonus prompt. So, which horror show or movie should I watch for my first ever no filter watch party? So here are your options, okay? Option 1, Castlevania. And this is Castlevania based on the video game. I have a thing for Alucard and Dracula, so I'm like, ooh, okay. So this is the anime that is on Netflix. So that's what Castlevania is. So if you want to vote on that, vote on that. Second is Vampire Diaries. Vampire Diaries, guys, is an older show, but what it pertains to is you have these two brothers. They're known as the Salvatore brothers. This is based on the very, very popular book series. But getting back into it, so you have the Salvatore brothers, and pretty much, guys, this is a vampire soap opera, and they just fighting over one woman. And don't get me wrong, she's gorgeous, but it's very extra, but it's very good. And I have a thing for Damon, though. He is very delicious. But that's just me. All right, moving on from that. Option 3 is Dracula, the TV series. So apparently Netflix, and this is just from the reviews that I've read, is probably one of the worst Dracula TV adaptations ever fucking made. Apparently this one is not that good. It was very lowly rated, but I wanted to see what was the big deal about it, so that's why I put that one there. Option 4 is Vampire Knight. It's one of my personal favorite vampire animes, okay? And there's also the sequel, but the first one, way better. And then finally, I found this one at random, and it's very, very popular on Netflix as well. And this is called Black Butler. It looked really good, y'all. It looked really good, and I was like, I really want to watch that. So that's your options, guys. And of course, you know, we'll see the results at the end, okay, of today's show. But if no one votes, which that's what usually happens, or if you guys don't let me know which one that you want for me to do the watch party on and commentary, I'm just gonna pick one at random, and then nobody complains because I'll be like, y'all didn't vote, okay? So I gave you guys the option, okay? But all right, so that's the bonus prompt. So there is the poll. So we'll see what happens. We'll see who votes for what here. Okay, so now it is time to show you my TBR for the Gothtober Readathon. Okay, so all right, so for the LGBTQIA plus read, I haven't found anything yet for that, so we'll pass on that. But for the people of color, but specifically Black author pick that I decided to read is this one here by the late, ever so talented, I don't know why BookTube really doesn't talk about her. Like, really? Come on, guys. All right, but I digress. So this is by L.A. Banks. I mean, legendary L.A. Banks. And this is a book series called it's called the Vampire Huntress Legend series. There's a whole bunch of books in this series, but I'm gonna start off reading the first book, and this one is called Minions. So that is my African American horror read, okay? So that's what I'm gonna be reading for that. Then for the disability representation, I haven't found anything for that. So if you guys have recommendations, like I said, let a bitch know. Okay? So. All right. Next for lies. Okay, this one has, it would cover lies. It would cover a female protagonist. I think it covers all 4 of these. Well, no, it covers 3. Yeah, 3 of them. It covers lies, female protagonist, and modern, like, retelling. in a way. So I have this this is a great book series, guys. Like, if you like campy humor but still covering like the vampire lore, you will love this particular read. Kicks ass. And I'm currently reading this one. I'm on oh, I'm so sorry, guys. I always get stuff in my teeth. It's terrible, but I digress. So I'm actually on book 6 of 8. It's like an 8-part book series. So fucking worth it. This is a book series that came out a while back. I don't really hear people talking about it anymore, but they should on BookTube. I'm telling you. Okay, so this one is by Ellen Schreiber, and this is called Vampire Kisses. Okay, so what this book series is about is you have a main protagonist. Her name is Raven, and then she one day, guys, sees this dreamy gothic of a man, and his name is Alexander Sterling. And there's some insta love that happens, and each book covers their like challenges with the relationship. Also her struggles with she has an internal struggle of whether or not she wants to become a vampire or not. Now her boyfriend there, Alexander, is just like, you know, I like you just the way you are, but she's like, I want to be a vampire. So it's very complex. It's really good, and I'm on book 6 right now, which is called The Coffin Club, and I will be doing a separate wrap-up talking about each one of these books because they're that fucking good. Okay, so I got that for the Lies female protagonist and modern retelling, because it does play on some of the modern retellings of like how vampires like act and stuff like that. It's really well done. It'll make you laugh, it'll make you cry, you will become invested, my friends, let me tell you. Okay, so then next, this one will cover Lies. It could cover a little bit of, sorry guys, oh my gosh, been a long day. It will cover some of female protagonists, not always. Foreign country, it will cover not modern retelling. This is probably my oldest purchased book. It doesn't have red. It has undead characters because it's vampires, and there is gray morality in there. And this one doesn't have dark academia. So okay, so this is the one, apparently, like, you cannot be a paranormal romance book stan until you have apparently read this book series. And I was inspired actually to get this book series because one of my favorite booktubers, and I live for her, I'm like the biggest fucking stan for her, is Peace Love Books, guys. Like, if you want a show that gives you that like romance book tea, she covers it all. Like, she is amazing, and she don't hold back, and she keeps it real, and I love her so much. Like, Peace Love Books, you the shit. Okay, but I digress. So I got inspired because I ended up watching a video of hers, and she talked about this series. And what I'm talking about is apparently, like, this is the series to read. It has a lot of books, guys, and this author just added another book to this series. It's really long. And what I'm talking about is the Black Dagger Brotherhood by J.R. Ward. Okay, so this is kind of the gist of what I've gotten so far, okay? Pretty much Black Dagger Brotherhood, there are a group of brothers. They are warriors, and see, unlike some of the other vampire like book series I've read, vampires and the vampire hunters that are also known as the Lessening Society, they kind of fight their battles away from humans. This is a paranormal romance series. It does get, it can get, you know, it gets a little steamy up in there. Oh no, actually, correction, this could also be a LGBTQIA plus read, because later on in the series there are some same-sex couples. So yeah, technically it could count just a little bit. But yeah, so that's what the gist. Each one of the books so far is covering different romances of each one of the brothers. So the first book, Dark Lover, covers Beth and Raph, who is the leader of the Brotherhood. The second book covers Rage and his situation. Personally, my favorite. The first book, boring until the end. Now this book is Lover Awakened. This is the third book in the series, and this actually covers the romance between my favorite character. See, I used to go hard for Raph, but I changed my mind now. I like me some Zetas. Okay. Oh. But this is the romance between Zetas and Bella, and it kind of has that like enemies to lovers in there a little bit. It's really good so far. As you can see, I got my bookmark here. I just started reading this shit, so it covers a little bit of everything. So I gotta catch up on that shit. All right. All right. So next, for my foreign country read, I would say this is guys, I didn't know this, but apparently George R.R. Martin, the fabulous creator of the Game of Thrones book series, which turned into a TV show that apparently had a problematic season finale. Who cares? I'm so over that whole Game of Thrones crap. I'm just like, you know what? It is what it is. Like, what did you expect? Like, this is what happens where, you know, there's like, here's my thing. There's a fine line between, like, you know, when you're really invested in the show, and then when you're so invested that it gets to the point where you get super, super disappointed. And I understand, I get it, but I was just like, okay, all right, but enough of my messiness. Let's continue here. All right, so yeah, apparently the creator of Game of Thrones, George R.R. Martin, wrote a vampire book. I was like mind blown. Apparently this is a good book. So many of you bookish freaks have told me. This is Fever, it's like Fever Dream or some shit. So that's what this is. So apparently this one takes place in the 18th century, and that's what I know about it so far. So it'll be interesting for me to read, because apparently it's probably going to be super gory and bloody, and I'm just like, no, I'm terrible. All right, let's continue here. So once again, we got female protagonist, foreign country, modern retelling, all in one. Okay, so this is actually a 2-part book series, but here is the most important thing. Okay, you must, and I'm telling you right now, if you're gonna read, guys, any type of retelling of a story, it is always important to read the original story before branching off into the retelling, because it could potentially spoil the main plot in the original story. You just gotta be careful. For those of you who, you know, get all your panties in the bunch about, you know, spoilers, yeah, don't read retellings until you read the original, unless it's in what they call alternate universe, but still there can be spoilers. So if you're particular about that, then read the original and then branch off and read the retelling. Okay, so before you read any of these, guys, you have to read, this is Dracula by Bram Stoker. This is the original. You have to read this first before reading any of the retelling or spin-offs, or else it's not gonna make sense to you at all. So Dracula covers foreign country. It also covers lies, because there is some deception in Dracula as well. I would say Dracula also, it may cover Bones too. It is my oldest purchased book as well, and it does have red, has an undead character, gray morality, especially with Jonathan Harker. There's many parts in the book where he does have that gray area. He feels like conflicted. Even Lucy too. She's just all up in her fantasies. Okay, good god. All right. And I would also say this would count for dark academia, because Van Helsing, and he just has this dark way of, looking at like vampires and they all must be eradicated, but he takes like an academic approach to it. So it could technically count, but you go back here. Okay, so yeah, you gotta read Dracula first, okay? And then I have a couple modern retellings that I have on my TBR. So I have, this one is, what if Mina, said, you know what, Jonathan, you're so weak and you're so annoying. Because I won't lie, guys, there are moments where Jonathan Harker, I just like want to slap a bitch on him. He is so fucking annoying. So I wouldn't blame Mina to fall into the big strong arms of Dracula. I don't blame her. Okay, so this is from Elaine Berstrom, and these are like highly respected in regards to Dracula book enthusiasts, and especially Dracula book enthusiasts who like spin-offs. This is The Dracula Story Continues, and this is Mina. Okay, so this is, like I said, she's just like, I'm fucking done with Jonathan and his bullshit, and I'm gonna go where I should have been in the first place. So you have that, and then after that, so you gotta read Dracula first, get all that background story, then read Mina, then you can read the spin-offs. Now, if you want to be real technical with it, technically you should be reading this one after Dracula. This is called Dracula the Undead. This is actually written by Bram Stoker's, I think this is like his great grandnephew, who is Dr. Stoker. So this is the continuation of what happens after Dracula. So if you really want to be technical like that, you want to read Dracula first, then read this one. Then you can read another book that was written by him and another person. It's called Dracul, and that's actually the prequel to Dracula. So if you're into, Dracula books, you want to read Dracula first, then read that, then read Dracul, and then branch off to the retellings, because at least you have the foundation of the story and the, the character building and the world building and all that good stuff. So after you do that, and this one, of course, is red, and it covers most of the bases, okay? So some of the retellings, guys, besides Mina, the other one here by Elena Berstrom, once again, is Blood to Blood. And this is, after you read Mina, then you have to read this one. So this is the Dracula, Blood to Blood, the Dracula Story Continues. So this, of course, has female protagonist, foreign country, modern retelling, okay? So then some other spin-offs, as you can see, guys, I am obsessed with the spin-offs. I am obsessed with the modern retelling. Well, modern, I understand what they mean by modern, but to me, modern is like any kind of way that you can put a twist on it, I would say, but I might be wrong. All right, so next here we have Dracula, My Love, and this is by Suri James. This is also another retelling that is very well respected, female protagonist, foreign country, got all the bases covered here pretty much. So this is The Secret Journals of Mina Harker. So once again, guys, this is, what if she was just like, Jonathan Harker, yeah, but she shares all of her her fantasies of what compels her to be with Dracula and stuff. So this is pretty much a journal format of Mina Harker's thoughts. So think of Dracula, but instead of Jonathan Harker, you have Mina in the driver's seat. Very interesting, I have to say. that's why I got that one. And I haven't read any of these yet except for Vampire Kisses by Ellen Schreiber and J.R. Ward, Black Dagger Brotherhood. I've read a couple of books in that series, but any of these I have not read. And guys, I have never fully finished reading Dracula. I would get to a certain point and then I would like maybe get burned out and I would read something else. So what I've decided is I'm going to read Dracula from start to finish. And I think the way that I'll do it is I'll actually read it out loud, because I know a lot of you guys request for me to read books out loud, and I think that would be a really good one, especially for this month. So we'll do that. All right, let's continue here, guys. So this one doesn't have a female protagonist. It is in a foreign country, and it is a retelling. These ones, I'll be honest, they're not modern retellings, but they're just retellings on the classic story, so hopefully that counts. But this one is by Amanda Grange, and you may know her from her other book, which is Mr. Darcy's Diary, which I also have. But guys, how about, you know, in Pride and Prejudice? This is a Pride and Prejudice spinoff, so I would highly suggest you read Pride and Prejudice and then read this one, or else they may spoil Pride and Prejudice for you a little bit. But, you know, let's say, you know, Mr. Darcy he's not human. He becomes a creature of the night. And that's what this book is. So this is Mr. Darcy, Vampire. That sounds so sexy to me, like Mr. Darcy as a vampire. Hormones are raging, okay? But yeah, so I got this one, yeah. So this is, you know, Mr. Darcy if he was a vampire. That's pretty much it. So the cover is so badass, so I can't wait to read that one. And then, guys, there are tons of Pride and Prejudice, like, retelling spin-offs and stuff. So this is a Pride and Prejudice adaptation, guys, of, like, Mr. Darcy being a vampire. Before like Elizabeth meeting Mr. Darcy and knowing that he's a vampire. This is crazy, but it's crazy in a good way. So this is a Pride and Prejudice adaptation, and this one is called Vampire Darcy's Desire. This sounds super hot. And this is by Regina Jeffers. So yeah, apparently this one's supposed to be a little steamy here. But come on, it's got vampires, so it should be sexy. I'm just saying. All right, so we got that. All right, next we have female protagonist, foreign country, I would say retelling. This one is, a lot of people can say that this is the adult version of Twilight. So that's why I got it, because I was like, okay, let's see what this is about. This is by Karen Esses, I think is the way to say her name. And this is Dracula in Love. So once again, you're getting the perspective of Mina and why she is so captivated by Dracula. You got like journal entries in here and shit. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, this looks really good, guys. I'm super excited. So we'll have fun reading that. And if there's any of these books, guys, that you want me to read out loud, just let me know. But I gotta start with Dracula and like work my way through. Okay, so we have foreign country and well, it's not a retelling, it's a prequel, so that wouldn't count. But this one, like I told you before, guys, you read Dracula, then you read the Dracula sequel. And then after that, you want to read this one, because this is the prequel to Dracula. Once again, this is Dracul. This cover is so sweet. And this is by Docker Stoker and J.D. Barker. I got that. And then my final selection here, guys, for my TBR for the Gothtober Readathon is, this is a book, guys, that if you're not into historical fiction, you do not get a book orgasm when it comes to that, where you get excited to read this. this is not gonna be for you. But if you are a Dracula book enthusiast like myself, and you want to know a little bit more of like the history of Dracula and the origins and shit like that, but in a historical fiction context, you may appreciate this book. It's very highly respected in regards to vampire literature, and this is The Historian, and this is by Elizabeth Kostova. So yeah, this is a thick this is a book, okay? This is that doorstop tome time, okay, level. But I really want to read this because I heard it was very good, especially you like vampire literature and you want more of that historical like fiction kind of context kind of interwoven in there. But yeah, that's it, guys. That is my TBR for the Gothtober Readathon. I cannot wait to finish reading these, doing wrap-ups. We'll see how far I get, because right now I'm on book 6 of the Vampire Kisses book series by Ellen Schreiber, and I am currently, actually I'm listening to it as an audiobook. See, I'm the type that I like to get the audiobook and read. It just kind of gels in my brain a little bit better. But I'm reading book 6 in the series. It's called The Coffin Club. So I have 2 more books to go. Sorry guys, oh my gosh, sorry for yawning. It's like I said, it's been a long day, okay? And let me know what you think about my new, like, you know, affordable drugstore gothic makeup look. Yeah, okay, but let me know what you think. But yeah, overall guys, that's my TBR for the Gothtober Readathon, and I'll let you know my progress. We'll do the wrap-ups and everything. And guys, they have a complete, I can't even go to all of the events. I wish I could. But yeah, they have all different types of really cool like events on the Gothtober Readathon Twitter, which I'll have the link below. It has all the information, like the, you know, the rules or whatever, and like they have like all the events that are going on. They're even doing, guys, reading sprints and all this really cool stuff. So guys, like a lot of time I hear people complain, especially in regards to the booktube community, complaining about the lack of like horror booktubers, and guys, I'll keep it real too, there's not many horror and like alternative booktubers of color. So that's why I even started my show too, is to add to that part of the representation part. But overall, you know, we complain about like the lack of, like, you know, a lot of times I hear I don't like horror, which is fine. We all have our, you know, personal preferences of what we desire when it comes to reading. But I don't think horror should get canceled, because it's like I give fantasy a chance, even though fantasy is not like my favorite like book genre, but I'm still open-minded enough to give it a chance. You know, and at first, guys, I wasn't really into horror at all, like heavy like that. But once I started reading the genre, it made me more open-minded. And I think the same thing needs to happen on booktube sometimes. Is just be open-minded. Horror doesn't mean gore. It doesn't always have to equate to like the extremes, you know. There's different degrees within horror literature and stuff like that, and I'll talk about that in the future. But yeah, I'm very excited, guys. And of course, once again, no one voted. I'm not surprised at all. But all right, guys, it is time for me to, of course, conclude today's episode with selecting what will be my first ever no filter watch party and commentary show. So we had Castlevania, Vampire Diaries, Dracula, apparently really bad Netflix TV series, Vampire Night, and then we also had Black Butler. So what I decided to pick is Castlevania. So we'll watch, well, I'll be reacting and we'll watch Castlevania. So you can either, you know, if you have, because I have Netflix, so if you have Netflix, you can watch along, and we'll do commentary and all that good stuff as I watch it. So yeah, we'll do Castlevania because no one voted. I'm not surprised. I don't know why I continue. No, I enjoy doing this because I do like hearing, all jokes aside, I do like hearing your opinions on this. But all right, guys, so that is going to be it for today's episode, guys, of Book Shade. You can keep in touch with me the following ways. I'm on Twitter, as well as I gotta really update my Instagram. I'm way behind, guys. I'm so sorry. A lot of shit's been going on, okay? I try to do my best, keep up my schedule here Tuesday and Thursdays. I do my best. Yeah, we have a lot coming up. So I'm still reading Vampire Kisses by Ellen Schreiber. I have selected, that's what we're going to be doing tomorrow. I'm going to put the Let's Play Friday a little bit on hold, guys, because I just don't have the energy right now. Let me tell you guys, work has really been kicking my ass. So all I want to do is just sit and watch something. You know what I mean? So that's the Let's Play I do on Fridays. That's going to happen next week Friday because I'll have the energy. Oh my gosh. But we'll watch Castlevania. Netflix, you know, on Netflix, so that's gonna be really exciting. I heard it was really fucking good, so I'm like, I'm so excited. I'm so excited, guys. But yeah, you guys let me know what you think about my TBR for the Gothtober Readathon and everything. And guys, I will throughout the month be giving you guys updates, letting you guys know what I think about the Gothtober Readathon. So far, guys, this is one of the most detailed and well organized. Like, well, this is how you do a readathon. Like, it's so consistent. They always have stuff going on. It's wonderful, I have to say. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think. Once again, I'm on that Twitter, I'm on that Instagram, which is at Bookshade #1. I will be taking pictures of all the books for my TBR, and I'm also doing exclusive content that will be on Instagram as well. So, you know, talking about like shorter, more abbreviated like reviews and wrap-ups and stuff. So that's what I'm working on. I have a lot to work on. But all right, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. But like I always say, reading is Halloween. All right, guys, until next week Tuesday, I will see you then. Take care, guys.